Welcome to Derry. Episode 5 has finally given what everybody's wanted, and that's to finally see Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise return back to this franchise. And what a return it was. I was just there like, holy shit, because I really fell for the Maddie whole thing, and it was a lie. It was a lie. So let's get into it real quick. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're talking Stranger Things starting this week as well, because the series is coming and we're going to be watching the episodes. So I'm very excited to do that. But let's talk about what the hell did we just see in episode 5, which was just so glorious. And I think it's going to be the turning point for the series when people are going to be like, oh shit, it got good. Like everything was building up, right? And now we can go full throttle. Let's get into it. So Halloran and Hanlon take the army into the sewers after in the previous episode we saw that Halloran used his mind infiltration to invade Daniel's mind and be able to find out what exactly the natives are hiding about Pennywise. And that is that they actually have these pillars that keep it contained. And now the army's like, you know what? We want that. We want to take us there. And they find out that the first place they have to go to is Nebolt Street, because that's where the sewers all connect ultimately, and it's the easiest way to get to Pennywise. Now the Losers Club kids also realize that they have to go down into the sewers when Maddie returns. Maddie apparently has escaped from Pennywise and has decided to come back. He says that Phil is still alive down there and that they can save him, but that they shouldn't get the police involved. They ultimately go down there with the new Losers Club member, which is Marge, who has decided to abandon the patty cakes and help the Losers Club now after what she just went through. So now we have the kids and we have the army down there in Nebolt Street. At the same time, we have Hank now being taken to Shawshank Prison, but we see later in the episode that an accident has happened and he manages to escape. Down here in the sewers, things go really bad when we see Halloran be tormented by his grandmother as well as his abusive grandfather. We know from The Shining and Dr. Sleep that his grandfather was such a bad person. We're going to talk about that in another video because I want to do a video just about The Shining and Halloran this week, so stay tuned for that. But ultimately we see that he is being pressured about opening this box that he has, and this box is very important in The Shining and Dr. Sleep because Danny in Dr. Sleep also has this box he keeps sort of the demons in, and Halloran having this closed was a way for him to sort of be able to harness his power. At the end of the episode we see that it's opened, and I'll talk more about that in a bit. Let's just get through what else happened in this episode. We also see Hanlon have visions of his wife, but realizes this is just mental games that are being thrown at him from Pennywise, and he decides to go forth with it, even telling Polly that if he sees anything down here, do not believe it's real. It is just Pennywise playing mental games with them. The Losers Club actually find out that they have been tricked by Pennywise because Maddie is indeed dead, as well as Phil and Teddy and Phil's sister. This Maddie isn't even a real Maddie. This is just Pennywise in disguise, and we finally get to see Bill Skarsgård in all his glory back as the clown, and it was so great, and I'm excited to see what's coming in the next couple of episodes. But we see that Lily falls behind as they are all running away from Pennywise, and just as she's about to get killed by Pennywise, she is saved because Daniel earlier dropped one of the stones that have been able to contain Pennywise. He's not able to get close to Lily, which is something they're going to be using for sure in the coming episodes. We finally see also that Hank had been having the affair with Miss Kirsch because he appears to her and tries to find out what to do next. Mrs. Kirsch's husband is an abusive drunk, it seems, so that's probably why he wanted to keep it on the low what's going on here, and now he needs to find somewhere to hide before somebody gets him because everybody is on the hunt for him here in Derry. He is their number one suspect and number one guy that they want to put behind bars to finally close this case, even though of course he didn't do this. And if that name Mrs. Kirsch is sounding familiar to you, it is indeed the same name of the woman who runs after Beverly in It Chapter 2. So what is this connection here? Well, Miss Kirsch has a pretty good connection as well to the formation that Pennywise has right now of Bob Gray, which is that circus clown performer there. We'll do a whole video on Mrs. Kirsch as well as Bob Gray as well this week. So I got like 3 Welcome to Derry videos coming for you, and I think as we're getting to the finale and trying to theorize what's going on here, we might get a couple more videos from me from Welcome to Derry, but we'll see. We also see that at the end, of course, as I said, Halloran's box is now open. So what does this mean? Well, before we get into that, we did have a major death in this episode, and that was Polly, who got shot by Hanlon because Hanlon thought that Will was just a way of Pennywise to mess with his head, but of course this was Will actually down here running scared from Pennywise, and now he sees his father almost shot him, and his father's friend had to intervene to help him. So this is going to cause a lot of disturbance in their relationship as we see in the upcoming teaser, but I think most importantly the biggest disturbance disturbance that's going to be caused here is now Halloran's box being open, because this means that Halloran's demons and everything are going to be coming to light, and things that Halloran sort of kept sort of away and hidden are coming to the light and going to affect him, especially him, how he uses his shining. So I think Pennywise is going to fully take advantage of all of this, and it's not going to be good. So what the hell? Where are we all here? Everybody's broken at this point. The army has nothing. It seems they've lost some great men. Halloran has completely broken his mind at this point with the box being open. Dr. Sleep in The Shining, we know that him having this box is truly the only way he's able to keep himself sane and his powers be useful. And now it seems that it's going to be all over the place. Maybe this is the reason we finally see Halloran leave Derry at some point. Also with Hanlon and his son Will, this relationship is going to be truly broken after this. He saw his father almost shoot him. He almost shot his son. I mean, how do you come back from that and not be scarred for this? And also Paulie, his best friend here, has now died, and it was because of him shooting him, because he couldn't even tell that that wasn't, he couldn't tell that that was actually his son, and he was about to kill him. So you pretty much think that Hanlon's not gonna be all the way there in the next episode for sure. And yeah, Maddie was just a thing that Pennywise had made up in order to lure the kids down here to finally get them. But luckily for them, they were able to take those pills, so it kind of helped them not to be as scared and probably get out of there as fast as possible. If not, things would have turned horrific. But the kids now have the stone that Daniel uses with the Native Americans, so they probably have a bit more protection now and are going to try and find a way to harness it to be able to finally defeat Pennywise here, at least for the time being, right? So I think that's where we are seeing the next couple of episodes go, and I'm excited for that. Like the final episodes, based on the trailers and the footage that they show in the trailers that we still haven't seen, seem to showcase that this is going to be one final fight between Derry as well as it. And my theory here is that the army is going to move around the pillars and ultimately try to recapture Pennywise. But in the process of doing so, they're going to free him and let him have more sort of will to travel around. And that's why he's able to come into Derry and take as many people as he can. As we've seen before, there's going to be a lot of people looking at the deadlights, and it's not going to be an easy task to complete to get Pennywise out of here, but it truly is going to be a sight to behold, and I'm excited to see that. Halloran, as I said, makes his way back to Colorado at some point, and I think that's definitely because of the events that happen in Derry and his box being open. I think a lot of these demons and shadows that he tried to sort of keep in this box come to the light and ultimately destroy him, not for the good. And the big question I do have as well is this Mrs. Kirsch the same Mrs. Kirsch that Beverly talks to in It Chapter 2? Does she know about Pennywise, of course, being in the same personification as her father, Bob Gray? And how exactly did this happen? So what I think is going to happen is that is going to probably be answered more in the next season, as we're going to go back 27 years when she was a young girl, and I think that's where they're going to try and explain more of what's happening there, because as we know, every season goes back 27 years until I think we get to like the inception of Pennywise coming into Derry, and I think that's going to make for some great TV, and I'm excited to see what that means. But I will have the full Mrs. Kirsch breakdown video coming this week. Stay tuned alongside my theories for episode 6. We have 3 more episodes before the finale. I'm excited to get into my theories for that. But what a great episode. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. I think it was definitely a step above the rest. I think that the weakest episode definitely for me had to be number 2, but I think once we started to really get into it, I think that episode 3 and 4 showed some promise, and episode 5, if we continue with this and elevate it a bit more, I think the show can end on a high note, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But this was great. So the army completely broken at this point. They've lost some great men. I don't think most of the men that even survived are going to be the same after it. So it's going to be a pretty lost cause. So that's going to make them act very irrational with things. The Losers Club might definitely want to take a step back, but now they have this stone that protects them. So they might try to figure out a way to use that against Pennywise here. Hank is having the affair with Mrs. Kirsch. That doesn't seem good for Hank, and the whole town's after him, and I don't know where the hell they're going to hide him. She says she's going to hide him in her house, and I just don't see how that's going to fly, right? So Mrs. Kirsch definitely is coming to find some help in the next episode, it seems, and we'll talk more about that in the theory, so stay tuned. But the biggest thing, of course, was Halloran's box being opened by Pennywise, which is going to make him be a little not as great at using the Shining due to the demons and everything that haunts him. So I think Pennywise knew what they were doing here and decided to sort of throw a wrench in the machine in order to get it to stop for a bit as they tried to ultimately finish the job that they started. Now, one thing that we also have to note here is that Pennywise is still needing to do a big bloody affair of sorts, because that's something they always do towards the end of the cycle, something we learned from the Native Americans. We also learned that Pennywise sort of shits as well. It seems that was kind of funny there, but we'll see. We'll talk more about that in the theory, so hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Let's get to 50,000 subscribers. That's the goal. Check out our videos as well. We are getting into Stranger Things this week, and we cannot wait to discuss those. So as always, stay safe, stay positive.